It's tough trying to balance homework and practice, but I feel like our coaches stress academics to a point where you have to succeed. I'm actually a hometown kid. I grew up in Elmhurst. When the football team approached me, it was kind of like a lock, you know? I get to go to school in my hometown, play football. When you get to play something that you love, along with getting that education, it's priceless. Coming here, I was just surprised at how close everybody is on campus. I know pretty much everybody in terms of athletics on the campus. You will not want to leave this place come senior year. I'm going to live up this last year that I got for everything that's worth.
Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Langhorst Field on the campus of Elmhurst College. Tim Calderwood with you alongside Tony Menestra for another Saturday afternoon football matinee. Elmhurst will take on Millikin University today. The Blue Jays enter the matchup sitting at 3-3. Guess what? The identical record for Millikin as well. Both teams trying to put behind a difficult week. Last week, Millikin lost to North Central. Elmhurst lost to Illinois Wesleyan, as both teams faced nationally ranked foes. And Elmhurst has won the toss. The Blue Jays will receive here. Tony, I think, talking about this game, well, Millikin ranks last in the CCIW in rushing defense. Scotty Williams, the CCIW leader in rushing yards, not just by a little, but by almost 300 yards he leads the CCIW. Expect a healthy dose of number 20 here today.
Yeah, and he got off to a slow start to start the season, did Williams, but he's got 123 carries at this point through 6 games. How about 778 yards and 5 touchdowns? He's averaging 6.3 yards every time he touches the ball from scrimmage. So you're not kidding about it. Get Scotty Williams the ball early and often, and I think against this Millikin defense, that's the plan today.
Rodney Payton and John Janis are deep to receive the opening kick. From Austin Brett Schneider, it is short. Rodney Payton handles it from the 18. Payton off the right side will cross the 30 and reach the 32-yard line as Elmhurst offense takes the field for the first time. Let's meet the Elmhurst offense. Left tackle, Charlie Hamaki. Left guard, Brett Virgil. Chris Kirkpatrick, the center. Peter Stamos at right guard. Adam Smith, the right tackle. Wide receivers, Rodney Payton, Chase Hamby, and Joe St. Peter. Scotty Williams is the running back, and Joe Furco, the quarterback. They're waiting to spot the chains here as Elmhurst opens 1st and 10, moving right to left in the blue uniforms.
Well, on paper, as you start to evaluate the Jays here coming into their 7th game of the season, you look at the offense and you think, well, you wonder how they're 3-3. Scoring offense ranks 2nd in the conference. Passing offense is 3rd. Rushing offense is 3rd. Total offense 2nd. They're near the top of all the major offensive categories in the CCIW, but yet they've not been able to translate them into consistent winning efforts. The Jays will have to be consistent today. They'll be led by Furco to start.
Pistol formation for the Blue Jays to open. Millikin shifty up front. The Big Blue on defense run a 3-4 look. They'll try to slow down Scotty Williams, who receives the first give and has a first down on the first play of the game, picking up 14 yards out to the 45-yard line.
Well, one of the first things we see out of Millikin is an 8-man front. And if you go 8-man box against the Jays, that's asking Furco to put it over the top. Now, he has not been able to capitalize in the last couple of weeks. But if they're going to go 3 deep or man-to-man coverage, he's got to challenge the secondary.
778 yards rushing for Scotty Williams to go along with 5 touchdowns, an average of just under 130 yards a game. He'll receive it again and pick up 5 yards. Crossing midfield, continues to move down to the Millikin 48-yard line, a gain of 7.
Well, the scouting report on the offense is pretty simple in the run game. It's zone blocking all day for Scotty Williams. Inside, outside zone. They'll run a little counter game to that, but pretty simple up front. It's just been the execution, and specifically on the left side of the line with Himoki and Virgil.
2nd and 3 for the Blue Jays. Opening quarter, opening possession for Elmhurst. Vince Gabrus in motion to the right side. Scotty Williams again with another first down, gaining 4, crossing the 45 to the 44. And I think Elmhurst today, Tony, will be content putting the ball in the belly of Scotty Williams over and over and over and over.
No doubt about it. And they were really tested last week against a very strong Illinois Wesleyan defense, but Williams was able to still get his yards. It's where are the other yards going to come from?
Elmhurst held well below their season average in total yards a week ago. It's again Gabrus in motion. Scotty Williams off the right side, upended after a pickup of 2. Blue Jays last week totaling just 249 yards of offense. Let's take a second look at the upending here.
Well, that's Cody Ackery, the strong safety coming down for Millikin. You're going to hear a lot about these safeties. Their free safety, Nick Kronmiller, a senior captain, is near the top of the CCIW in tackles. He's got 60, so he'll be playing downhill all day against Williams in this rushing attack.
If I had to guess, we'll see a lot of those safeties cheating up, which could open things downfield for Furco. Handoff to Griffin Gibson, and Gibson will pick up 8 yards near the first down marker at to the 36.
Little veer look here, and the Jays have not run this in the past couple of weeks, but it was a part of their package early in the season. Griffin Gibson, a very versatile player. You'll see him out of the backfield a little bit. That time taking the veer handoff, setting up a 3rd and short.
3rd and 1 for the Blue Jays. Scotty Williams in back of Joe Furco. And he's straight ahead for the first down. Defensively, Millikin with Brian Wolf and Eric Lewis Charles as the defensive ends. Jake Weston is the tackle in the middle. Mitchell Caffey, the linebacker, along with Marquette Moore, Keith Burzak, and Jake Hazelton. The corners, Daniel Fischel and Sonny Rollins. Strong safety, Cody Acree. Free safety, Nick Kronmiller, who have both been busy here early in the contest on a picture-perfect Saturday afternoon. Game time conditions, 60 degrees, mostly sunny skies, wind out of the southwest at 10 miles per. Guess what? More of Scotty Williams with an opening. Williams, as a flag comes in late, will pick up a first down inside the 25, but the flag is for a hold against Elmhurst to back up the Blue Jays.
Well, as you start to dissect the numbers on the Millikin side of the ball, as you get another look at Scotty, yes, they're giving up 411 yards a game, 197th in the country, but you look at the points they've surrendered in the CCIW. Against Augustana, 27. Carthage put up 40. North Central put up 61 on October 15th. So the Big Blue are really getting gashed defensively here, setting up a long 1st and 20. The Jays are going to have to score some points today.
10 yards from the spot, so it's actually an 11-yard penalty charge to the Blue Jays. Furco, for the first time through the air, in the flat, dumping off to Rodney Payton, who could not hang on. 2nd and 21. And another number that stands out when you look at the matchup in this contest, the numbers between these two teams. Millikin averaging 29.2 points per game. Elmhurst second in the CCIW at 38.7. We could see a lot of points on the scoreboard today. Both teams are also near the bottom in scoring defense, with Millikin averaging under 32 yards. A huge opening for Williams. Still on his feet. Falls forward inside the 30 to the 28-yard line.
Well, what a talent this junior tailback is. Scotty Williams finds the crease. Great vision to cut it downfield, and the explosion by Williams to get through. How about this? Scotty's ranked 13th in the country in rushing yardage. He's averaging almost 130 yards a game. He leads North Central's Jordan Tassio by almost 45 yards, who's in 2nd in the CCIW.
Some more Williams off the left edge. Wrestled to the ground by Mitchell Caffey. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage, perhaps a loss of a yard on the play. 4th down for the Blue Jays. You keep the offense on. It looks like Elmhurst isn't even thinking about it here.
Well, you've got Trevor Spalding as a kicker. He's perfect, 7 for 7 on the year, but this may be a little bit out of his reach. little bit of a conservative call there by Coach Lester.
Wind blowing across the field here at Langhorse today. A 4th and 5 for Elmhurst from the Millikin 29-yard line.
It's man-to-man.
Furco, incomplete over the middle. Never took his eyes off of the intended target, Griffin Gibson. Some great coverage on him from the linebacker, Keith Burzak.
As we get another look at it here, Furco with all kinds of time, and that's been one of the problems this year. We have not seen Furco progress to the point where he can read and check down to his number 2 and his number 3 receivers here. They've been very simplistic in the passing game and not able to convert there.
Well, a good series for Elmhurst, netting 50 yards, all from Scotty Williams, but nothing to show for it as the Blue Jays turn it over on downs. Millikin takes over with 10:17 to play in the first quarter in a scoreless game. First look at Matt Holmes, the quarterback for Millikin. He will run an option, hand it off straight ahead to the running back Tyler Roush, who is met immediately. Matt Holmes, a 5'10 junior. He's the starting cornerback. Running back is Tyler Roush. Receivers, Eric Tobey, Tommy Eichenauer, and Jake Palmer. On the offensive line, Brad Rucker, left tackle, Ethan King, left guard, Tyler Fallbush, the center, Eric Whitaker, the right guard, and Dustin Moore is the right tackle. There is also a tight end in the formation for the Big Blue. Their tight end, big number 88, Chris Natoroway. Roush again, met immediately. Very little, maybe a couple on the play.
Well, you'll see a little bit of a version of the pistol here, which you see quite a bit with the Jays, this time running a straight isolation play. Tim, I got to tell you, what jumps off the page as you're looking through the roster of Millikin, how about the size of some of these offensive linemen? 6'7", 275, 6 foot 305, and their big right tackle, Dustin Moore, is 6'6", 280.
Now looking at a coaching change in the offseason, Patrick Etherton, a longtime assistant for the Big Blue, is now the head coach. Shotgun formation. Holmes to pass, now keeps with an opening, a lot of room. Holmes directing his blockers, stutter steps in, reaching midfield. Jamal Lane with the initial hit, but a big gainer up the middle for the Millikin quarterback.
Well, nothing new for Holmes here. He's second on the team in rushing yardage, first in rushing attempts. He's got 82 carries for 365 and 8 touchdowns. As he takes a look at his single read on the backside, and he's gone with it. Not so sure that wasn't even just a planned quarterback draw.
1st and 10 for the Big Blue. Elmhurst, second in the CCIW in rushing defense, allowing just over 100 yards per game. North Central leads the CCIW. They are under 100 yards per. Big game today down in Bloomington. North Central and Illinois Wesleyan, perhaps to decide the CCIW crown. Straight ahead for Rouse, who fumbled. Ball is loose. Elmhurst claiming they have the ball. They'll unload the pile. A lot of extracurricular activity going on, as you might expect in a pile-on, to try to see who has the ball. We do not have a signal of yet. Now Millikin is claiming they have recovered, and indeed they have. The Big Blue will hang on to the football. Let's get a look at the replay.
Millikin retains possession.
Just a scrum down there, right on top of the EC Shield. Millikin has not taken good care of the football. They're near the bottom of the CCIW in turnover margin, while the Jays are +5. They've done a nice job of protecting the football and taking it away.
Looked like Ryan Johnson with his helmet on the ball, popped it away from Roush. Speaking of the Elmhurst defense, we'll provide it for you in moments. A 2nd and 5 for the Big Blue on the Elmhurst side of the field. Handoff straight ahead to the new running back. That is Dunning. And Dunning on his feet, straight ahead to pick up the first down. Sean Dunning, a hometown product out of Decatur and a freshman for Millikin.
A little unbalanced look here, and they run the inside veer out of the pistol. Just getting downhill on the Jays.
Nice open field tackle from Charlie Roberts, who's at one end along with Dan Vicari. Peter Alfano in the middle. The Blue Jays with 3 linebackers, Ryan McGuire, George DeMaria, and Wayne Tuckson. The safeties, John Janis, Ryan Johnson, and John Gruchot. Mark Evangelista and Jamal Lane are the corners. Holmes throwing over the middle, incomplete. Looked like he was almost aiming for Jamal Lane because he had inside coverage the entire way on Eric Tobey.
Well, it's a 4-vert look. They're running it against cover 3. Holmes not able to find his receiver that time. Lane in better position than his receiver. But Holmes is just a slight quarterback. He's 5'10", 180. So perhaps the passing lane's not as clear for him.
Dunning is the back behind Holmes. Trips to the near side. A keeper for Holmes. Straight ahead for 4 yards, just shy of the 35.
And this is where the Jays really struggled a week ago against Wesleyan. Really hanging in there as you get another look at the quarterback power play. Jays were hanging close for a half, but in the third quarter, they could not get off the field on third down. In particular, the second drive of the third quarter where Wesleyan converted 4 third down conversions to score and put the game away.
3rd and 6 for Millikin. Possibly 4 down territory here for the Big Blue as well.
It looks like man-to-man coverage for the Jays.
Holmes receives the snap. Hands off and a huge hole for Dunning. Dunning with a first down and more to the 25-yard line.
Well, take a look what the Big Blue did here formationally. They pulled the safeties out of the box. As you get a look on the lower half of your screen, that opens some running room inside. The backers are not able to step up and make a play. Forces Johnson to come in and make the tackle down the field. First down for the Big Blue.
Well, an interesting note in this matchup. Each of the last 7 years, the visiting team has won between Elmhurst and Millikin. Elmhurst winning in Decatur 05, 07, 08, and last year. Millikin winning here in Elmhurst 2004, 2006, and 2009. Holmes with a broken play to the back of the end zone for the touchdown. Play kind of developed away from Holmes. Eichenauer raced towards the corner as the Blue Jays came in to guard against the keep, and it was a wide open touchdown for Millikin, who strikes first here in the opening quarter.
Well, it's the scramble drill for the secondary, and you're taught this from a very early point in the season, that anytime you get a quarterback on the run who breaks contain, lock up with any white jerseys or opponents that are near you. That time Johnson and Evangelista were both in the area, but not in a position to make a play.
Another note about the series, the last 5 meetings all decided by 6 points or less. So expect a close one here today as well. It's Millikin on the board first. Austin Brettschneider with the extra point. It's through 7-0 Millikin with the lead. 6:09 to play first quarter.
Early on, you get to see Holmes' mobility causing a problem for the Jays. We'll get a look at it here. 3-by-1 formation. It's the escapability of the junior quarterback that makes this play. Bakari not able to hunt him down.
Great job on the play as well from Eichenauer, breaking towards the back of the end zone to find himself wide open. Just the second touchdown catch of the year for Tommy Eichenauer, and his 18th reception of the season. Covering 25 yards as the Big Blue open the scoring here today.
Well, a different approach for the Jays a year ago. You mentioned the 6-point victory. They had a 40-15 lead in the fourth quarter down in Decatur a year ago, and it was a big day for Joe Furco. 28-48 for 377. He's not going to be asked to throw the ball that many times today. But the Big Blue out on top this season.
Brettschneider with the kick for the Big Blue, very short. It'll be taken at the 25-yard line by an upback. Ryan McGuire will gain 10 on the return, crossing the 35 to the 36, where the Blue Jays take over. Perhaps a way to design and keep the ball out of the hands of some of those Elmhurst playmakers.
Yeah, and Rodney Payton in particular. You know, offensively, Rodney's climbing the ranks. He's 13th in receptions all time here at the college.
1st and 10 for the Blue Jays. Option left. Furco fakes the pitch, keeps himself, and gains 8 yards. Great deke by Joe Furco. We'll get a second look here in a moment.
Take a look at the shoulder fake here if you can. They run a little veer game and dips the shoulder to Scotty and lowers the shoulder himself on the linebacker.
I think if you're Millikin, you're going to be keying on Scotty Williams.
Sure.
So for Furco to be able to pick up 8 yards there.
I think Brian Wolf was a little bit surprised that Furco decided to tuck it.
Furco will send Gibson in motion. Scotty Williams straight ahead, leapfrogs his way onto the Millikin side of the 49-yard line.
Well, he is just so explosive once he hits his crease. He's so decisive, too. In the zone running game, you can cut it back, hit the crease, or bounce it outside, and watch Scotty as he decides, gets his shoulder square, and he is downfield in a hurry.
Daniel Fischel credited with the stop. 1st and 10 for the Blue Jays. They're on the Millikin side for the second consecutive time. Tony, this was something we noticed last week, though. Elmhurst had very many opportunities early on the Illinois Wesleyan side of the field, but couldn't turn it into points. Coming up on 5 minutes to play the first quarter, 7-0 Millikin. Furco will dump it off to Scotty Williams, who bobbles initially, and will be shoved out of bounds after a gain of only a yard. Daniel Fischel again leading the way for Millikin defensively.
Yeah, and I think Fischel got the worst end of that. Check out Scotty here, finish the play, although it's a minimal gain, if any, for Williams. He's the one that delivers the blow. Boom.
Jacob Alvis also in on the stop for Millikin. Call it a gain of 2. 2nd and 8 for the Blue Jays with 4:29 to play in this first quarter. Second offensive possession for Elmhurst. They marched 50 yards on the first possession but came up empty. Millikin 71 yards down the field, opening the scoring, as Matt Holmes connected with Tommy Eichenauer on a 25-yard touchdown, and we've got a timeout. Elmhurst will spend a timeout with 4:12 to play in the opening quarter, trailing 7-0.
Head coach Tim Lester, his coaching staff, and the entire Elmhurst College football team would like to invite you to attend the 2012 second annual.
Tim Lester will gather the troops along that near side and talk things over here. Both teams are moving the ball here early on, Tony.
Yep. Yeah, we thought we'd see that a little bit today. The Jays' defense has really struggled of late. I think it started with the Wheaton game, where in the first 6 possessions, the Thunder were able to score on consecutive possessions to start the game, and it just sort of dovetailed into last week with the Illinois Wesleyan and not able to get off the field. Today already trailing 7-0 to the Big Blue.
Let's take a look at the CCIW standings entering play today. We'll also set the stage for the other contests today. Illinois Wesleyan and North Central tied at 3-0 atop the standings. Wheaton sits 2-1. North Central is playing Illinois Wesleyan today. That will start in about 3 or 4 minutes. North Central also still has to face Wheaton this year. Carthage, Elmhurst, Millikin, Augustana, all 1-2. North Park 0-3.
Well, this is a big separation game for both teams, Elmhurst and Millikin. What direction is your season going to go in here? Both at 3-3.
Furco flushed from the pocket. Squares his shoulders, and Rodney Payton flat dropped it. A penalty flag is on the field on the far side. We'll await the decision of the call here. Other games, we mentioned North Central at Illinois Wesleyan. North Park seeking CCIW victory number 1 there at Augustana. And tonight under the lights in Kenosha, Wheaton is at Carthage. It's an illegal formation call against the Blue Jays.
Tim, the Jays have really done a nice job this year correcting mistakes that have lingered over the last couple of seasons in terms of penalty yardage. They're second in the CCIW in terms of least yardage per game, only about 40 yards a game in penalty yardage. We've seen 15 so far today. They'll have to limit those mistakes to keep Furco in manageable third down position.
4:05 first quarter, 7-0 Millikin with the lead. The Big Blue will decline the penalty and set up a third down.
Millikin has declined the penalty. Third down facing the Blue Jays.
3rd and 8 for Elmhurst from the Millikin 47-yard line. They had already marked off the penalty. Whoops. The officiating crew today: Ralph Carey, the referee; Steve Doty, the umpire; George Schinkin, the linesman; Ron Tomzak, the line judge; Randy Weisenhofer, side judge; Gary Polanyi, the field judge; and Marty Mallon is the back judge, the CCIW officiating crew. 3rd and 8, clock running with 4 minutes to play.
And Tim, the Big Blue have not been particularly successful on third down, 7th in the conference, giving up third down conversions.
Furco dropping. Stepping right, underthrows Joe St. Peter, who came back, and it'll airmail St. Peter, incomplete. Punting time for the Blue Jays.
Well, Furco checking the play here. He just does not look comfortable and has not looked comfortable over the past couple of weeks. Pretty good protection as he's had all year. As you say, just airmails it over St. Peter and just looks a little out of sorts, does the junior signal caller.
Well, Joe Furco is going to stay on the field, and he will double as the punter for Elmhurst. We've seen this throughout the season. Furco's actually a darn good punter, if I do say so. Joe Furco on the season, averaging almost 37 yards a kick, and this is another beauty. Back to the 12-yard line. A fair catch is called for by Blakely. And Millikin will take over deep in their own territory.
Well, the defense has got to develop some form of an identity here. They have sort of allowed offenses in the last couple of weeks to dictate the pace. They've not brought a lot of pressure. Been very poor on third down. They have got to turn things around here today.
1st and 10 for the Big Blue with 3:42 to play in the first quarter. Millikin leading 7-0. 2 possessions for Elmhurst. Twice onto the Millikin side, but 0 points. Holmes stutter steps initially as he hesitates and keeps ahead of the 27-yard line.
Ryan Johnson, the invert safety, makes a great play on this one, fitting the outside. Play on it as if we get another look here. Holmes will run a lot of this quarterback draw, quarterback power look. This time they pull the backside guard. Johnson does a great job fitting it up, forcing it inside.
Pick of 4 on the play. 2nd and 6. Holmes waits for the last moment before putting it in the belly of the running back, Dunning. And Dunning reaches the 20-yard line, a gain of 2, and it's 3rd and 3.
And this is quite simply the read option. They're reading the defensive end, which is Vicari on this play. Holds his ground there, forces the give, sets up a 3rd down.
Some personnel changes as Holmes checks out the plays written on his wrist. Dunning remains in the backfield. A 4 wide receiver look. Holmes on a keeper, straight ahead, gains the 1st down and more out to the 28-yard line.
Well, this is the game plan for the Big Blue today. Spread out the Elmhurst defense and create some creases in there. Give a little space to their running game. That time a design keep by the quarterback.
Holmes, a very mobile quarterback. Now, Elmhurst did see a mobile quarterback against North Park, but that was a completely different look.
Sure.
North Park ran more of a standard power wing T formation. They'll try a little trickery here. Stepping up to throw is Eric Toby, and it's incomplete. There's a reason why wide receivers do not throw the ball.
Well, even if he had gotten it out there a bit, his receiver was blanketed. Both Chikungal and the backside corner Evangelista had the play diagnosed.
There wasn't even a receiver around.
Goodness gracious. Looks like he was going for Tommy Eichenauer on the deep post. Just not enough muscle on it.
Second and 10. Not a bad idea, though, on 1st down to throw a new wrinkle. Option for Holmes. He will keep and is hit behind the line of scrimmage.
This is where the Jays need to make their hay here on 2nd and long. You can't set up a 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4 situation. Force Holmes to put back in the pocket. Take a look at it here. Great pursuit by the defense. You got to give him a 3rd and long.
Wayne Tuckson in there, along with Charlie Roberts defensively. And it is a 3rd and 11 for Millikin with 1:33 to play in the first quarter.
Well, you called Wayne's name there, and he's been the leader of this defense. He's first in tackles, 53 by almost 20 tackles. He's got 8 behind the line of scrimmage and 2 sacks to go along with it.
Passing situation, pressure from Tuckson again. Holmes avoids, flips it off to Dunning, and a whole lot of room in front. Dunning will cross midfield. He's finally wrapped up at the Elmhurst 48.
Heads up play by the quarterback that time, able to shuffle it forward, and Dunning is able to find some green space. Take a look at it. Tuckson first man through. Heads up play by the quarterback.
25 yards on the completion. Millikin with a minute to play in the first quarter, up a touchdown and moving again on the Elmhurst defense. Play clock is at 10 for Holmes. Out of the pistol. Pressured. Hit by Roberts and dropped at the 45-yard line.
Well, great read by the young defensive end, Charlie Roberts. Take a look at it here. They run a little veer package. Play action off it this time. It's a nice compliment to their run game. Charlie Roberts is not fooled.
Roberts, a sophomore for the Blue Jays, collecting the sack. And with 20 seconds to play in the quarter, Millikin will have to get a playoff before the quarter expires. Holmes rolling left, throwing over the middle. He has Toby, and Toby reaches the 46-yard line, back to the original line of scrimmage as the first quarter comes to a close.
Well, you see here they cut the field in half, make the read a little bit easier for Holmes. Sets up a third and manageable.
1 quarter in the books, 7-0 Millikin in front as we break on Blue Jay TV. As we open the second quarter, Millikin with a 7-0 advantage. It is a 3rd and 7 for the Big Blue on the Elmhurst side of the field, the 45-yard line. We'll take a look at first quarter numbers in a moment. Holmes dropping to pass, looking right, throwing high, catches made, and a good containment on the play by the Blue Jays as Ryan McGuire will shove the receiver out of bounds. Jake Palmer with the grab.
Well, Holmes doesn't have a particularly strong arm. That time floated it out on the far out route. Jays have got to make a play on the ball there in the air.
And he's short of the first down at the 41-yard line. It is a 4th and 3, and on comes the punt team for Millikin. First time today, we will have a look at the Big Blues punting units. Led by Vitaly Kulik. Line drive kick, skipping at the 15, continuing to roll down near the goal line. And they will down it inside the 1. Great coverage by the Big Blue.
Wow. Well, Patrick Etherton in his first year as a Big Blue coach has got to love this. Play a little field position with it. Take a look at it. A little dribbler down to the 1.
Diving right on top of it to down it at the 1. Bo Fischel with the diving play, and the Blue Jays will have 99 yards to travel to try and tie the game with 14:32 to play in the opening half.
Well, we've mentioned multiple times statistically how successful the Jays have been offensively. 99 yards will test them here.
Furco stands 5 yards into the end zone. Scotty Williams 2 yards further. It is Williams straight ahead, and he is hit at the line of scrimmage, gains maybe a yard. First quarter numbers. Millikin 17 plays, 113 yards. Elmhurst 15 plays, 67 yards. Most of the damage for the Blue Jays on the ground, 65 yards rushing, 2 yards passing. Millikin a nice balance, 55 rushing, 58 through the air. Scotty Williams, 8 touches in the first quarter for 50 yards, a long of 17, 6.2 yards per carry. Matt Holmes leading Millikin, 6 carries, 29 yards for the junior quarterback. 2nd and 9, Furco with a pump fake. And it's batted down at the line of scrimmage, incomplete. Joe Furco just 1 for 5 in the first quarter.
Yeah, and he just seems uncomfortable here. Plenty of time. The offensive line, again, doing a terrific job. It's a pump and rip it look there. And even if he had found Rodney Payton, which it looked like he was going backside, there was certainly coverage.
Looked like it was batted down by Brian Wolf, a 6'1", 250-pound freshman for the Big Blue. 3rd down and 9 from the 2. Gabris in motion. Scotty Williams straight ahead and nothing there. Close to the 5-yard line, and on comes the punt unit.
Well, Tim, as you take a look at the cutback here by Williams, one of the big problems this offense has had to endure the past couple of weeks in particular is just no explosiveness in the passing game. They're finding all their big plays on the ground, and very difficult to find a crease against an 8-man front consistently. I understand that Scotty Williams is one of the most dynamic players in the conference and in the country, but you've got to find some help for him.
Joe Furco's first punt today covered 34 yards. He's at the back of the end zone, and a high kick angling towards the far sideline is dropped initially and recovered by Mike Blakely at the 40. Blakely stays in bounds and works his way down to the 33-yard line.
Well, Furco makes the best of a bad situation here. Terrific hang time allows his coverage unit to get down the field a bit and corners it into the sideline, the big blue sideline there. Millikin will still start on the other side of the 40.
Solid field position for the Big Blue with 13:03 to play in the half, looking to build on a 7-0 advantage. Bowers in motion, Dunning the give, Dunning with a huge hole. Dunning down the sideline, Jamal Lane trying to strip, pushes him out of bounds inside the 10 at the 8-yard line.
Well, the road team coming in pretty confident here today and able to road grade the defense here a little bit. Finds a seam between the right guard and the center. Dunning sets up a big first down inside the 10. Well, a little bit of a startling stat here, Tim. In Elmhurst's 3 losses, they've been trailing going into the second quarter in each contest.
Trailing by a touchdown here, potentially more. It's Dunning again straight ahead to the 5-yard line. Massey among the tacklers along with Ryan Johnson.
Well, the defense has been on the field quite a bit already, and last week it was more self-inflicted, but this week it's the offense's inability to convert first downs and stay on the field.
2nd and goal in the first quarter. Millikin with 7:50 for time of possession. Fade to the corner. What a catch. Toby makes the catch for the touchdown. Blue Jays can't believe there was no offensive pass interference call, but Holmes has thrown 2 touchdowns in the first half of the game, and Millikin is up 2 scores.
Well, they get one-on-one coverage with Evangelista there, and Toby's got a little bit of a height advantage. He's 6'1", 201 going against Evangelista. 5'8", 160 as he's listed in the program. A little bit of an arm bar by Toby, but official lets it go.
Eric Toby, the leading receiver for the Big Blue this year. Snares his 4th touchdown grab. Extra point, a line drive, good. 14-0 Millikin with the advantage. Both through the air as Brett Schneider adds the PAT. Here's the touchdown, and let's look for that contact perhaps coming in the corner. Almost like a little bit of a stiff arm to keep the distance.
Well, you've got 2 routes you have to defend down there as a corner, the inside slant and the fade route. Obviously, the slant's a little bit easier. Toss for the quarterback, so you play an inside shade. Receiver that time electing to go to the edge.
Second quarter score, Augustana 7, North Park nothing down in Rock Island today. Eric Chandler with a touchdown moments ago.
Interesting matchup there. Augie, of course, of longtime wishbone and wing tee fame, going up against a primarily option attack in North Park.
North Central moving the ball down to the Illinois Wesleyan 14-yard line on their first possession, the opening possession of the game down in Bloomington. And we have a new quarterback warming up on the sidelines for Elmhurst. It is Joe Camilleri, the freshman out of Caneland High School. This is an awful kick out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Straight in the air off the foot of Austin Brett Schneider, the freshman for Millikin. And Elmhurst will end up with some solid field position here.
Well, we may see Camilleri here on this drive, and just really not a lot of pace, not a lot of excitement, not a lot of energy in the offense. We'll see if the young signal caller can ignite a fire in this Blue Jay attack.
Camilleri in for the Blue Jays as the quarterback. Camilleri has played in one game this year. He completed his only pass. He is a freshman out of Sugar Grove. calling for motion, handing off to Gibson. And Gibson off the veer, works his way to the 43.
Well, in talking to the coaches before the game, we thought we might see a little bit of Camilleri as he runs the veer here. And he's a little bit more mobile than what Furco is, but
2nd and 6 for the Blue Jays with 11:35 to play in the first half, trailing 14-0.
And you're just looking for a spark here in the offense. It's an explosive unit. You've got to get things going here.
Camilleri examining the alignment. A little bit of a low snap. He'll step up, throw his hit as he throws. Incomplete, looking for Josh Gentile, another freshman.
Starting things easy for Camilleri here. An easy read on the veer. Little 3-step drop. Not able to connect. This isn't a terribly complex offense, so I can't imagine that Camilleri is going to be limited today in his play calling. But now we're in the 7th week. You talk about all of summer camp. He's had plenty of time to digest the playbook.
3rd and 6. Elmhurst trying to avoid their 2nd consecutive 3-and-out. Heat coming initially from Charles. It's a dump off to Andrew Tubeck. Tubeck with a huge opening on the Millikin side to the 38-yard line as a flag comes in late.
Well, it came from the back judge here, and they may be getting contact downfield.
Pressure coming at the feet. Camilleri feels it and just dumps it off. It is a penalty against the Blue Jays.
Well, it's a spot penalty, so it'll be interesting to see what the 3rd down situation here is. Good call to get the young quarterback into the game here, get him into the flow.
It is a 1st down after the penalty, 10 yards from the spot. Penalty came downfield. The spot is now the Millikin 49 as Camilleri directs the offense.
And he's working along with Tubeck, who brings a little bit of different dimension than what Williams does. A lot quicker on the edge.
Tubeck is sophomore, behind Camilleri. Receives the give. Continues to motor his way to the 44-yard line. Gain of 5 on the play.
Well, Tim, for viewers at home that have become familiar with this program this year, as you get another look at Tubeck hurtling over the left-hand side. The pace of the offense has changed quite a bit over the past couple of weeks. In the early part of the season, a fast break style, no-huddle offense. The Jays have been huddling here today, and we saw a lot of that last week as well, perhaps slowing things down here for the younger quarterback.
Nick Cronmiller coming up to help drop Tubeck after the 5-yard pickup. 2nd and 5 from the 44. Pressure coming. Again the veer. Gibson to the near side with an opening. Uses the stiff arm to the face of his defender as he shoved Moore out of the way. And gains positive yardage for an Elmhurst 1st down inside the 40.
Well, Gibson able to break contain that time because of the terrific block by Adam Smith, the right tackle. Can't say enough good things about this offensive line, although the offense has struggled the last couple of weeks. Those front 5 have played very well.
1st and 10. 3rd visit in 4 possessions for Elmhurst to the Millikin side. Under 10 minutes to play in the first half. The Blue Jays down 14-0. Camilleri checking off at the line of scrimmage. He'll hand off to Williams, who we haven't seen in a while. Williams down the middle and waltzing his way into the end zone for the Elmhurst touchdown from 38 yards away.
Great
Huge
vision,
opening.
Great cutback. How about the check by the young quarterback? They check the zone read to the 3 technique, and Scotty Williams does the rest.
Scotty Williams finding the end zone on the ground for the 6th time this year. And on comes Trevor Spalding to try to pull the Blue Jays with it, a touchdown.
Boy, a little bit of energy now in the offense.
Out of the hold of Jake Lincoln, the extra point is up in plenty of distance, but it missed to the right. 14-6. Spalding has been perfect on field goals this year. but he misses the extra point here. He's had some issues with extra points this year. That's his 5th miss as we get another look at the hole created for Scotty Williams.
Tim, take a look at Josh Gentile here. Bury Sonny Williams there at the end of the play. He's your wide receiver. Takes the corner flat out of the play. Williams finishes it off.
So it's 14-6 with 9:32 to play in the opening half. Scotty Williams celebrating another touchdown for the Blue Jays. Williams with 91 yards on the ground today on only 11 carries.
Well, we knew coming into today, and we mentioned it in the early part of the game, Scotty's been the offense for the Jays the last couple of weeks. Perhaps the young quarterback Camilleri here can balance things out for the Jays.
Trevor Spalding will kick off for the Blue Jays, who trail 14-6. Deep for the Big Blue, Mike Blakely. It'll be Blakely backing up to the 11. Blakely follows his wall to the right side. A flag comes in as Blakely reaches the 20-yard line. Multiple flags, in fact.
Well, Rodney Payton was one of the first Jays on the Wolfpack unit down there, and he got bumped in the back. That'll push the Big Blue back inside their own 10. And a big drive defensively here for the Jays. They have got to make a statement and turn away the Big Blue.
See if we can pick up the penalty here. There it is.
Not often you see your starting receiver and pretty electric receiver on your kickoff unit, but Rodney's the first one down there, and this will bury the sticks back at about the 10-yard line.
1st and 10 for Millikin from the 11-yard line. With 9:23 to play in the first half. Time for that Elmhurst defense to step up.
Yeah,
this would be a great time for a turnover.
You haven't seen much pressure yet out of the Jays defense. We'll see if they bring it here.
Keeper for Holmes. Reaching the 15-yard line to provide a little more room for that Millikin offense. Just kind of ducked underneath. Dan Vicari with the initial stop for Elmhurst. 2nd and 7 upcoming.
Holmes using his big offensive line to sort of gash open a few creases in the defense.
Millikin has moved the ball today, 155 yards so far in the game. Only punted once. A pass from Holmes a little bit low, but handled by Eric Toby, who owns one of the 2 touchdown catches today. It'll be a first down for the Big Blue to the 25.
The 3-step drop has really hurt the Jays for the course of the season here as you get a look at the quick snap and set, get rid of it. Last week, Wesleyan went up and down the field with Rob Gallick, their sophomore signal caller, with 3-step drops. Jays corner is really bailing out of there.
Marvin Carr, a freshman, recording the tackle for the Blue Jays. Motion for Millikin. Dunning, the running back. Only a couple out to the 28-yard line.
Well, this is just an inside zone play. We've seen this out of the Elmhurst Jays quite often this season. This is the Big Blue version of it. And 2nd down is huge. Got to keep it in a 3rd and long situation here. This has been a conservative position now for the Big Blue so far today. We'll see if they run Holmes on a quarterback keep.
Elmhurst showing blitz. Holmes hands off to Dunning. Dunning with a couple yards crossing the 30 out to the 31.
And the East-West running game has not been very successful so far this season against the Jays. It's a 3-down look, but they have a lot of speed on the field. A little bit undersized at the linebacker position and in the invert safeties, but they can run sideline to sideline. They set up a 3rd and medium.
Third and a long 4 upcoming for the Millikin offense. A big play for the Elmhurst defense. Crowd starts to make some noise here at Langhorst Field. Holmes with a flag flying is pressured and the play will be blown dead.
The penalty. Yep, play clock ran out on him.
And now Millikin will have even further to cover on third down. A false start is the call. And it is a 3rd and 9 for Millikin from their own 26.
Again, another opportunity for the defense to show their wares here. They have got to get off the field in these situations, turn it back over to the offense.
Third downs were big last week against Illinois Wesleyan. They've been big today as well. Millikin 4 of 5 on third down. Holmes will dump off to Dunning, and he is pushed out of bounds by DeMaria. And he actually ends up losing yardage on the play.
Yeah, man coverage this time, and DeMaria's locked up with the tailback. He's able to get out of his middle linebacker position and make a play. Nice job by the young linebacker.
Vitaly Kulik, a 40-yard punt, pinned Elmhurst inside the 1 the last time he took to the field. John Janis will stand at the 40-yard line, and he will back up towards the 35, and he handles it there. Janis waits. Janis has an opening. Janis continues to run out to the 42-yard line, where he is finally brought down there by Wesley Beach. Good job by John Janis of kind of biding his time and waiting for the opening.
Take a look here. John Janis, a fearless return guy, able to create a little space for himself. Puts the Jays in pretty good position here just on the other side of the 40. Janis, a 3-time all-conference selection at the safety position.
And it's the freshman Camilleri again in at quarterback. Why not? He directed a touchdown drive last time. Elmhurst trailing 14-6 with 6:18 to play in the first half. Handoff to Scotty Williams, coming near side. Williams leapfrogs a defender, and he will cross the 45-yard line, working his way near midfield to the 48.
Well, he does such a great job navigating his offensive line there. Take a look at Ackery, the safety that comes down. He flat out misses Williams that time, able to get enough of him to slow him down. But Williams is pretty crafty in between that big offensive line.
2nd and 5. 5:45 first half. 14-6, Millikin the advantage. Peyton St. Peter to the far side. Gabris in motion. Camilleri hits Gabris. Gabris will cross midfield, but he's hit as soon as he makes the catch, falling ahead to the Millikin 49.
Well, defensively, Patrick Etherton, the head coach, the first-year head coach for Millikin, knows that the freshman quarterback is in there. They're going to be a little bit more conservative with their play call. Perhaps his coverage can be a little bit more aggressive, play a little bit more press man, force the issue on the young quarterback to make a play.
Gentile to the near, Peyton to the far. 3rd and short. Camilleri settling down the offense. With under 5 minutes to play, hands off to Williams, looking for an opening. And it's defended nicely by Millikin, who shoves Williams out of bounds after a loss of a yard on the play. Leading the way was Nick Cronmiller for the Big Blue.
Well, this says a lot about your offense and where you're at in the season. On a 3rd and 4, you're going to go ahead and hand it off to Scotty Williams, who's no doubt an electric player, but just not a lot of confidence in their offense to move the ball through the air.
Sean Sullivan will punt for the first time today. Joe Furco had punted on the first 2 opportunities. Mike Blakely is deep, standing at his own 19. Sullivan, rugby style, rolls right. Fair catch is called for, and Blakely will make the fair catch at the 21-yard line. Millikin takes over with 4:09 to play in the half.
Well, huge spot here for both offense and defense with 4 minutes to go in the game and an 8-point gap. See if Elmhurst can't get the ball back for their offense here before the half ends. Millikin content to maybe run the football here and get into the second half with an 8-point lead.
29 yards on the punt. And it is a 1st and 10 for the Big Blue.
They'll come out 4 wide with it, a 3-by-1 look into the boundary.
Dunning the lone back. Holmes hands off to Dunning. Dunning tries to rid himself of Wayne Tuxon, who hangs on after a gain of a yard.
Hold steady, number 54, able to bring down Dunning. And Millikin not in too much of a hurry here. They'll keep their 10 personnel on the field. 1 running back, 4 wide receivers.
Big Blue with 3 timeouts left here in the half. They have not taken one of yet. Elmhurst with 2 to play. 3:35 left in the opening half. 14-6, Millikin with the lead. Big Blue will receive the kick to start the second half. Again, it's Dunning. And he's tripped up immediately, falling forward for maybe a yard. And now do you think about using one of those 2 remaining timeouts, Tony?
Well, as the clock ticks down near 3, I think you want to leave as many as you can for your young quarterback. Furco already burned one in the first quarter. You have 2 left if you're the Jays. Looks like Coach Lester's willing to hang on to him.
Third down and 8.
Buster look for rub routes on the wide receivers here.
Holmes flings it over the head of his intended target, Blakely. Incomplete. The Elmhurst defense holds.
Well, a huge play there. Obviously, you stop the clock there with just under 3 minutes to go in the game, but you've kept Millikin pinned down inside their 30. You'll get good field position, you hope, here. And maybe a better return by Janis.
39.5 yards per kick so far for the Millikin punter, Vitali Kulik. John Janis standing at his own 40-yard line. 2:47 to play in the half. A low snap. Pressure coming from Tubeck. Kulik with a beaut, backing Janis up to the 30-yard line. Janis waiting, and he's hit for a loss of 2 at the 28. Great coverage by Millikin on the huge kick from Kulik.
Yeah, Kulik's been great today. His long coming into today was a 52. I'm not so sure that wasn't right at 50 yards, but getting it up in the wind stream there. Take a look at Janis. He's got nowhere to go. Great coverage by Millikin.
Kulik came into the game sitting 6th in the CCIW in punting at 35 yards per.
Boy, must be a great year for punting in the CCIW. This kid seems like he's a pretty good little punter for the Big Blue, but it's 2:36 to go. Tim, I think you got to cut loose the young quarterback here, try to push the ball down the field.
47 yards on the punt for Kulik. Camilleri looking to throw to Payton over the middle for a first down. Payton to the 43.
Of course, when you're in trouble, just go to number 4, right? He's been a dynamic player this year, had a couple of quiet weeks, but Camilleri finds Payton that time.
Hurry up look for Elmhurst. 3 wide receivers. Camilleri, quick drop, just out of the reach of Payton. It's one way to build confidence. Quick 3 and 5 step drops for the freshman quarterback.
Well, Millikin's rushing 4 this time, playing coverage behind it. Looks like a quarters look. Payton now able to come up with the play inside the safety.
2:20 to play, first half. 2nd and 10 for Elmhurst from the 43.
And Millikin will roll coverage down towards Payton this time.
Scotty Williams sidesteps an initial tackler. Gains maybe a yard to the 44. Leading the way for Millikin, Keith Burzak. And it is a 3rd and 9 with 2 minutes to play in the half.
Penetration just ruined that play from the start.
Millikin shows blitz. Camilleri steps up, throws it behind Vince Gabris, incomplete. And Joe Furco will come on as the punter here.
Oh, Camilleri just not stepping into the throw that time. It's all arm, and he's behind his receiver, Gabris. And we have not seen an offense struggle like this in many years, and certainly not under the Lester regime here.
This is the 3rd punt for Furco today. Sean Sullivan punted once as well. Blakely at his own 20. Furco with a floater. Blakely bobbles at the 22-yard line, but is able to backpedal and fall on top.
Well,
so
Tim,
with
just
1:45 to play. Millikin leading 14-6 here in the first half, taking over 1st and 10 from their own 21.
Just sort of being here in the booth, you don't feel a lot of emotion either with the crowd or on the sidelines. Just a very flat performance so far for the Jays. With the exception of Scotty Williams, there's been very little to cheer about here. Defense maybe has to make a play and turn over the Big Blue.
North Park and Augustana even at 14 apiece. North Central on top of Illinois Wesleyan 7-0 down in Bloomington late first quarter. Dunning crosses the 25-yard line out to the 27 for a pickup of 6 yards on the play. Millikin does have all 3 timeouts. They do not appear as though they will take one here with 1:28 to play in the half.
Well, you take a look at the body language of the Jays here and just no sense of urgency in the blue jerseys.
Trips to the near side. Holmes
Oh,
on a keeper. Huge hole. Side steps a tackler down the sideline and inside the 20 to the 16-yard line. Boy, did he make Alvin Chikungo look silly.
Well, the free safety had a beat on him, just took a really poor angle. And you practice all week. The backside corner, it looks like it was Jamal Lane, made a poor play on it. And this is Millikin's go-to package here.
First timeout for the Big Blue with 1:05 to play in the first half. Looking to build on a 14-6 advantage.
The book on the Big Blue offensively is you got to take away the quarterback power in the inside zone. That team not staying home in the back end, lost contain. Marvin Carr, the young corner, had to chase him down.
Holmes had 33 yards rushing before that run. But he has set up Millikin inside the red zone late in the first half.
Well, both Holmes and Dunning have ground up the Jays here. Able to keep the ball, hold possession, control the pace. They have not had to go to the air much.
On a fantastic Saturday afternoon in Elmhurst, Millikin leading 14-6 as the first half winds down. They have 2 timeouts remaining.
Well, the Jays have got to shut the door here and make a statement before the half ends.
Trips to the near side. Holmes hands off to Dunning inside the 15. Clock running with 56 seconds to play.
Millikin will rush to the line of scrimmage. Their strategy here has changed with the flip-flop in field position.
2nd and 6 out of the hurry-up. Holmes to the left side. Targets Eichenauer, who makes the catch. Eichenauer out of bounds inside the 10 at the 7-yard line. It will be a first down for the Big Blue, who have 1st and goal with 35.5 to play in the half.
Millikin recognizing a little bit of a mismatch over there. Got the young corner Marvin Carr at 5'5", 145, the freshman.
Timeout Millikin with 28.6 to play in the half. That's the 2nd timeout on the drive for the Big Blue. Holmes with 88 yards rushing, 78 yards passing here in the first half. Millikin looking to build on a 14-6 lead, and the Big Blue will receive when we return from halftime as well. They have really moved the ball up and down against the Blue Jays today. Nice balance for Millikin here in the first half as well.
They sure have, and they're winning in the trenches. That's where it starts in your running game. Those big bullies up front for the Big Blue, 6'2", 275, 6 foot 305, and 6'1", 280 from guard to guard. They're really making some good movement there along the front line and not allowing the Jays backers to scrape and get downhill.
1st and goal for the Big Blue.
Well, you got to go man-to-man coverage here for the Jays. They'll spread you out, see if they try to run Holmes.
4 wide. Palmer comes in motion. Holmes, a broken play, keeps, and he will be escorted untouched into the end zone. He felt the heat, tucked and ran into the end zone, and Millikin builds on their lead here in the first half. 22 6/10 to play in the first half. Holmes with his first rushing touchdown of the game. And really, he did most of the work on the drive.
Well, the Jays are in a tough spot now, down 2 scores with a first-year quarterback at the helm.
Austin Brett Schneider's extra point attempt is up and good. 21-6 with 22.6 left in the half as the Big Blues strike again. That drive was all Matt Holmes as we get a look at the touchdown. There's the heat. He felt it, tucked, and followed his blockers into the end zone without an Elmhurst defender so much as putting a hand on the junior quarterback. 5 plays, 79 yards for Millikin in just a minute and 22 seconds.
I would not want to be in the locker room here. Just to the west of Langhorse Field in the home locker room. I'm sure Coach Lester will have a few words for his Jays.
Just a reminder, you can go back and watch any of our broadcasts here on Blue Jay TV. They are available for you on demand. We'll have a doubleheader of soccer coming your way on Blue Jay TV a little bit later on today as well, as Elmhurst hosting Wheaton. Austin Brett Schneider with a line drive floating kick, bouncing at the 30-yard line, backing Rodney Payton up to the 29. Payton changing course with a flag on the field. He's only going to end up gaining a couple, and the Blue Jays will be backed up as well with less than 15 seconds to play in the half after a penalty flag flies in.
Tim, there has got to be an attitude change on this sideline as you take a look at Rodney Payton coming into the field there. No energy at all. Jays are walking around like a defeated bunch.
Looks like they picked up the flag. They picked it up, and Elmhurst will be spotted at the 22-yard line. (21-6). Millikin in front, first half winding down. Freshman quarterback Joe Camilleri will probably hand off to Scotty Williams and see what can happen here. Don't want to take too many chances. Late in the half, Camilleri does give to Williams a huge opening. Williams off to the races. Williams crossing the 40 and stepping out of bounds at the 47-yard line with 7.4 to play in the half. And a gain of 25 yards for Scotty Williams, who's over 100 in the first half.
Well, you've got a timeout in your pocket here. See if you can't take a quick shot, maybe get 10, 15 more yards and call the timeout, maybe set up one last one.
Hamby and St. Peter to the far, Payton to the near. Hard count from Camilleri, low snap. Camilleri will just air it out for Payton. Payton is open and it's broken up. Great coverage from Darryl Mitchell to knock it away from Payton. It was a little underthrown. The half does not expire. There's still just less than a second left.
Tim, I am shocked that Rodney Payton is allowed to get on top of the defense here. It looks like, where's the safety on top of Payton? If Camilleri gets it out there, it's a touchdown for the Jays, but a little bit of an odd choice in coverage that time on Payton. Camilleri not able to put it on him.
0.7 of a second to play in the half. Joe Furco will take over for Camilleri.
Well, do you sling it down or do you go screen pass with it here? Looks like they'll stack 3 receivers.
First, though, a timeout for Elmhurst. It is the second Blue Jay timeout of the half. Furco played the whole first quarter. Camilleri has played the duration of the second, and it looks like Furco will be on for the final play of the half. Second and 10 for the Blue Jays. who allowed Millikin to roll up 257 yards in the first half, including 170 on the ground.
And a couple of big ones in there, but regardless of yardage or field position, you've got to find a way to inject some energy into this home sideline here. The Jays sort of dragging their feet a bit here going into the half.
It is Furco as the quarterback out of the timeout. Hamby, Gentile to the far side. Peyton to the near. Furco stepping up, looking deep. Great spiral in the air. St. Peter is there. It's knocked away, incomplete. That is the way the half comes to a close as Mitchell Caffey in to break it up. Let's take another look at the last second heave from Joe Furco.
Well, good job by the offensive line to give him a little bit of time, and Furco puts it 55 yards in the air into the mix. That's all you can ask for as a receiver, to get an opportunity. A lot of contact, but you don't call that one.
End of the half. Millikin 21, Elmhurst 6. We'll have first half numbers for you in a while. In the meantime, enjoy the festivities here at Langhorst Field. This is Blue Jay TV. Halftime at Elmhurst. Millikin 21, Elmhurst 6. We'll run down the numbers for you momentarily, but Tim Calderwood alongside Tony Minestra. And Tony, suffice it to say that I'm sure in the locker room there were a lot of things discussed because many things need to change in the second half of this game for Elmhurst.
Well, what was discussed and what the coaches talked about with the players is probably secondary to the fact that the tone of the coaches was probably fairly stern. I can't remember a time when the Jays have played with this much lack of energy, lack of focus. They've got to light a fire to get things going here in the second half.
Millikin 257 yards in the first half on 34 plays. Each team ran 34 plays. Elmhurst just 186. Big disparity right now. Passing versus rushing for Elmhurst. Only 35 yards passing, 151 yards rushing. Millikin 170 yards on the ground, 87 through the air. Big Blue did hold a slight edge in time of possession in the first half. Scotty Williams plus 100 yards, 15 carries for 121 with a TD. Matt Holmes, 94 yards, the Millikin junior quarterback, owns a touchdown, and he's thrown for 2 as well. 8 of 10 for 87 yards through the air. Sean Dunning with 11 carries for 69 yards. Trevor Spalding will open the second half with a kickoff for the Blue Jays. It'll be picked up at the 18 by Eric Toby. Eric Toby will cross the 25. He'll be stopped shy of the 30 as Millikin receives the opening kick here in the second half. And the time for this Elmhurst defense to show up is now.
Yeah, and Tim, maybe the most disconcerting factor of the first half is that Millikin did not do anything exotic. Really running the football, running their standard stuff. Jay's not able to make the run fits. A couple of big plays in the run game.
The only exotic play they ran was an incompletion from Eric Toby, a wide receiver.
Jays have just got to strap it down here and play solid defense moving forward.
1st and 10. Dunning is the running back. A quick throw to Toby. It's low, but Toby keeps it off of the turf. And he'll pick up a couple of yards. Ryan McGuire in on the stop for the Blue Jays. Also joining suit, Alvin Chikungo.
257 yards racked up by the Big Blue in the first half. A lot of it coming in the form of 2 large breakaway plays for Millikin. Jays have got to settle into some sort of rhythm here in the second half.
2nd and 8. Holmes very comfortable right now. Hands off to Dunning. Huge opening straight ahead. Dunning is hit by Chikungal, but not before he picks up a first down across the 45-yard line.
Well, perhaps Coach Defensive Coordinator Joe Adam unhappy with some of the things he saw in the first half. We see Simonik in at the invert safety, normally where you'd see John Janis, Alvin Chikungal, of course, and Marvin Carr out there as well. So some new faces for the Jays to start the second half.
Trailing 21-6, just underway third quarter. First possession of the half for Millikin. Trips to the far side for Holmes. He will fling out an incomplete, a little miscommunication between Holmes and Tommy Eichenauer, the intended target.
This is something Millikin likes to do. They like to spread the pocket. It really is a one-receiver read. They'll run the 2 and the 3 off to blow the safety coverage off. Becomes a one-on-one with Carr. Not able to connect that time.
2nd and 10 with 13:44 to play.